What's up, guys? Hey, how we doing? So I caught up with Jalek Swoll, the factory rockstar Husqvarna racer, and he has been through the crap lately. Both the last two seasons, he started off with right before the first year. This year, he broke his arm, and then last year he hurt his knee at the first round and his head. He has been through the ringer, and it was really tough this year because this injury comes in a contract year. And you guys know how these teams are. You're here one day, gone the next. He does have a home for next year. He didn't tell me where, but I happen to know it's Triumph. So he is joining Bobby Hewitt at Triumph for next year. But yeah, he's doing great, and we talked about moving from amateurs to pros, racism, the possible documentary on his life that hopefully will get picked up by Netflix. So anyway, guys, I want to thank Coach Rob at Complete Racing Solutions. If you want to get in shape and be durable and get on his team, send in a resume. He's taking resumes this month. Epic Garage Designs. If you need something for your garage, your slat wall, flooring, hit up epicgaragedesigns.com. Ride Strapped. You guys know the goggles, the Let's Go branded goggles, t-shirts, glasses, and then Precision Transport. If you're tired of dealing with unreliable freight trucking companies, hit up Precision Transport. So, all right, guys, let's get into this.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
All right, guys. So I've got one of my favorite guys in the pro ranks, somebody who I actually started off on a bad foot by saying he probably wasn't worthy of, getting his ride. Boy, did I eat those words big time. And this dude is cool enough to come on, make me eat crow, and now come back on it and chat with me, man. Jalek, how you been, brother?
Man, I've been good. Definitely could be better, but all things going forward, everything's been good and kind of.
All right,
Yeah,
so Jalek, you have started both of the last two seasons just with bad injuries when you're coming in prepared. How do you reset in the middle of that?
For me, it's been a mindset thing. I feel like because this year, and it sucks because last year with the new bike and everyone struggling, like the only thing that people could see was just literally me struggling and me like looking not ready. And so the worst part about it is like coming from last year, everybody kind of seeing the struggles of that and kind of just writing me off. And then this year, I really feel like I got a hold on some things that were super uncomfortable last year. And like I really started to find my groove and ride really good. And just to get hurt right before the season, like it was just a tough blow. Like I was even getting compliments from Alden about how good I was riding. And that's like, you really have to be putting in some work to get some compliments down here. So like, I felt like I was super prepared, super ready. And I was really starting to find some strides. And next thing you know, like I was on the ground and my arm snapped. So it sucked, but with this sport, it's a part of it. I just kind of embraced it as, everybody has these times, and this was just my time to be injured, I guess. And it is what it is. I feel like I've come back. My arm isn't still like where I would like it to be, but I'm competing. I'm here. I'm at least getting through the season, and I really feel like next year when I'm fully healthy and fully ready to go, like I will be good. And I know that for sure. I just have to be healthy when I come in.
So when you came into this outdoor season, you hadn't had much time on the bike. You're kind of racing yourself into shape, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I came in with maybe a decent 2 weeks. I don't really want to even say great 2 weeks because like it really wasn't good. Like I came back and I started riding. I probably had about 4 weeks in total, but about 2 of those weeks you can just cut out because my arm hurt too bad to even like really ride, and I couldn't put together days in a row. I couldn't do anything. So it was pretty much just like riding around, and then I'm out for a couple of days because my arm is so sore and beat up, and like so that was a struggle. And then I got 2 weeks to where I could actually ride or at least kind of do the motos. So it was a struggle. Like I pretty much just raced myself into shape, but as you know, like you can't just ride around at 50% out here and be good. So like it was just a struggle.
Well, and that's a double-edged sword, what you're talking about. So it's so gnarly when you come back to a class with 20. It's not like the 450 class. The 450 class is top heavy, but it kind of
Yeah.
thins out and dudes can cruise around 15th. In that
Yeah.
250 class, you got factory riders in 20th. Like there's
Yeah.
no halfway. And now, did
No.
you consider waiting until you're ready? Because it's a big debate whether you come back and race yourself into shape because you lower your stock, you could lower your
Yeah.
confidence, or you build.
Yeah.
Like, what made you decide to build?
Well, for me, like I was just so done with sitting on the couch and watching. Like after having such a good Supercross off season and like feeling like I was going to be in the mix and surprise some people, like it just sucked. Like having that opportunity to go out and ride good and get these results that I know everybody's kind of waiting on for me. Like it sucked. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching the races, I'm watching some guys do good that I feel like I can compete with, and it just kind of ate at me, I feel. And at the same time, it's a contract year for me, so I can't just sit out and do nothing, you know. And that's one thing about the sport. It doesn't really matter about what I have done or what I've shown before. Like I have to get out there and be seen. It's pretty easy to be forgotten in this industry that we're in. So I had to. It wasn't like I really had much of a choice. So I had to get out, no matter if I was 50%, 70%, 20%. It didn't matter. I had to be out there. So I got to a point where I could at least feel confident enough to make two motos in the day, and then we went racing.
Wow, that's gnarly. And people forget, and that's crazy. You talk about this sport and how it forgets people. I mean, 2 years ago, you won a national that had both Jet and Hunter in the field. Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't that long ago.
No.
And you mentioned contract year. Dude, how stressful is it that when you don't have a signed contract and you're sitting there with a broken arm? Are you considering, like, is this probably the last shot? Like, what's going through your mind?
I didn't really feel like it was the last shot because I mean, like you said, like I've literally won a national before, and I haven't forgotten that. I am confident in what I can do. I know I can do good. I just felt like last year I struggled with the bike. It's no secret. Everybody had their struggles, and then this year I felt like we got into a point where we were starting to find some comfort, and I knew if I just came back and raced myself into shape, one of these rounds I would get that little bit of a breakout to where I could really start to build some momentum. And so that's pretty much all I was banking off of was just myself, like literally betting on myself and just giving myself the opportunity to be there. Like I knew if I could keep myself upright, level headed, not get too into the downs on if I was getting beaten pretty bad or what in the beginning when I was hurt. So just embracing the process and keep going. Like literally just trusting the process and trusting in myself because I feel like as soon as I get to a point where I am healthy and I feel really good, I feel like I'm fine in this class. Like I belong to be in the class and up front with those guys. So was just waiting on it. And I feel like High Point again, like I know it's funny, like High Point is like that track for me, but I do feel like it was a day for me to be on the box again. And that was where I feel like the momentum could have really shifted in my direction. And unfortunately, I went down with my teammate literally second turn of the second moto after getting fourth, and I literally lost third with like the white flag out to Hunter. So it wasn't like I was just out there. Like I was up there. So I keep on proving to myself that I can do it. It's just comes down to all the puzzles fitting together, you know?
Yeah, no, you absolutely belong. And in addition to coming back from injuries, you can't say it, but I can. The Austrian bikes sucked last year. I know you've done a lot to improve them this year, but I personally still think they're behind. I mean, you can't look at guys like Tom Vial, a 2-time champion. I know Max Volan's good. RJ rides the wheels off of it. The bikes just aren't as good as the Star Yamahas, but you guys are still fighting through. And I think that's something that should be considered. And you said it's a contract year. Have you signed a contract for next year? Do you have a home?
It's kind of in the works still. I don't really. I mean, I have an idea on where I'm going.
We don't have to say any details, and I know you can't, but you do have a home.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we need. I'll leave it alone at that. I'll tell everybody because I know from my own sources, not from you, and I know the teams, they've got you locked up. I didn't get my information from Jalek, but I know where he's going, and he's locked up, and he's got a great opportunity coming in front of him. So what's your goal for the last 2 nationals? And then are you excited about this SMX deal? You get a reset. You get to drop the points and go for a real title again.
Yeah. For the last 2, because I really do like buds. So I literally just plan on getting a good start and showing what I'm capable of. Like, I feel like even right now, not at 100%, I do feel like if I get a good start, I will stay up there. So, I'm going to put all the pressure on that start to get a good start and see where things go. So, so the last 2 rounds for me are just getting starts. And even if I don't finish up there, at least be in the battle and in the mix the whole time. And, I feel like this season I've had good motos, but I haven't been able to really string together 2 good motos. It's always something, whether it's just me by myself going down or going down with somebody else or just something. So I just need to get 2 motos together and I'd be happy for both the last 2 rounds. And then SMX wise, like I'm unsure about it. Like, we've never done it. So I have some question marks about it, but it is cool. It's an opportunity for us to make some decent money for our class. You know, we don't see those numbers very often in this class. So it's sick to go out, have an opportunity to make good money, as I'm sure all the riders would say. And also the fact that we have something new to do. It's different. You know, it changes up this season compared to years prior. So it's different. We obviously have to get through to figure out what, the real deal is with this SMX thing. So the excitement of something new is definitely there, but there's I definitely have my questions,
When you say questions, what do you mean?
Just how things are really going to work out. Like, we've never done it before. It's supposed to be a different format. Just how qualifying and all those different things are going to work. Like, especially with the LCQ thing, and I don't know, it's weird.
What is the race format, and are you directly qualified? Where are you at in the points?
Right now, I think I'm in. I don't know. I want to say I'm definitely in. I want to say after Unadilla, I'm around 14th, maybe.
Okay,
I have no idea.
So what I know they're doing single, double, triple. Is it like what's the format? Is it 3 mains? Do you know what they're doing?
So this is what I'm saying. I have question marks because I literally have no idea.
Me too.
I know it's 2 motos. So 2 motos. I don't know if it's 25 minutes or 20 minutes, but I'm pretty sure it's one of those and +1. So I know that. I don't really know how, because if right now, if I ended the season in 14th, I don't know if that's just my gate pick every round, or I don't know how that works.
There's
the qualifying thing.
Yeah. There's a small point gap though. You're behind a few points per position. So, but other than that, I don't really know much about it, but I'll be there, Charlotte, to watch you. So,
yeah.
And the other thing is, we spoke briefly. I've seen stuff about your dad. Is your dad out to see you yet, or is he still?
Yeah, he's out.
And so people that don't know, and I think I told you this, my dad sold drugs off of a Mack tool truck to keep me racing, and people do some crazy things to keep their kids racing and keep them out there. your dad ran into some trouble. You're doing a documentary with Troy Adamitis, right?
Yeah. We're sitting on a ton of footage right now. We haven't released it. We were supposed to release it a while ago, but we ran into some issues kind of just with like financials. Like we thought we would get a lot more help than what we did, and we haven't really gotten any help. So all the money that was put into it was pretty much out of Troy's pocket, and we filmed a ton of stuff that we were gonna have some sponsors hop on, or we were talking with Netflix for a while to try to figure out budget things on that. And we were kind of just at like a stagnant point. So at the moment, we're really just waiting right now and sitting on a ton of footage and waiting for the right moment to get some help and kind of figure out what we're going to do with it. But we do have a ton of footage, and me and Troy are pretty much just waiting on something to come about on it.
Wow. Well, I don't want to tell too much about the story because I think it's going to be amazing. And when that does hit Netflix, I think people are just going to be blown away with your story. And I'm glad you guys are getting it out there. Don't rush the distribution. Get the proper distribution. This could be something life-changing for the sport and for you. And and let's be real here. You're one of the very few African-American racers. Malcolm has been open about dealing with some racism. Have you ever had to deal with that in this sport in this age?
I mean, I definitely have. But the funny thing about it is, yeah, you have your weird things that go on in the pros that you can chalk it up as racism. But for me, like most of the things that I felt like I was treated differently were more alongside like the amateur side of things. Like I remember before I was any good and I was kind of just someone else out there, I felt like I was looked at differently. And I don't want to say that as like, oh I'm the victim. I know like it's easy to sound like that when you're talking about things like this, but I felt like it was a bit of a difference then, like amateur wise. I've definitely had some run-ins where been called out of my name before and N-word and all that kind of stuff. So I've definitely had those moments. But when I started to get good, like people looked at me more as like, oh, okay, this kid's legit. And then those things kind of just went away. So I feel like the struggles of color and that kind of stuff would be more for like the people who are really just trying to get into the sport and trying to make a name. Because once I built my name, like I don't know if it was just because I was like known or what, but people really stopped kind of talking about me in a different light, if that makes sense.
Absolutely does. Because like I didn't even think, I was trying to find things to talk to you about, and I actually forgot. Like I genuinely just didn't even think about it. I'm like, I wonder if he has to deal with that. So
no, I mean it's there. I mean, I feel like James and Malcolm probably took the worst lickings because they're like some of the first, like
James took some shit, man. Whew.
Andy at Husky, yeah, those guys have definitely took some licks. I feel like those guys went through way more hardships and took a lot of the load of that off of me. So by the time I was here, I don't feel like it was as out of the ordinary, I guess. You know what I mean? I'm still was the only like African American, I guess, like coming up through amateurs. But I don't know. I was like, I got good around 80s and super minis. And so right around that time, it kind of all disappeared. So it's been a while since I've like experienced something. I actually posted something after Redbud. I posted on my Instagram or whatever, because I don't like, you can be racist, but I'm not. I take everything so like I laugh at everything. So like you can say some crazy shit to me and it not even affect me. And like I posted something on Instagram not too long ago of like somebody in my comments like saying the N-word and stuff, and I just posted it up just like to show like what I had seen, like pretty much like haha, look at what the fuck just happened on my Instagram. And I posted it up, and it was funny, like some of the it was almost like everybody was getting offended for me. Like I was laughing, but everybody was offended for me. You know what I mean? Like
Dude,
I can only laugh.
I feel offended for you right now. I'm embarrassed that people in this day and age do that. And I was just wondering if it kind of flared up again, because I feel like our whole society has kind of tried to divide the last few years. And I was just wondering if it brought it up at all. So yeah.
No, not too terrible. Not too terrible. I mean, even if there was some shit directed to me, like I'm so out of the I guess feeling like, oh, poor me. I guess you know what I mean. I'm so like comfortable and confident with who I am, and like I don't know. I feel like I've dealt with so much harder stuff to deal with than like somebody caring about what my skin color is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I had Ben Riddle on. Do you remember him?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had Ben Riddle on, and he talked about how much more money he made as an amateur before he
Yeah.
turned pro.
Yeah.
Does that sound similar to you? Did you make more as an amateur than you have as a pro?
Oh, for sure. I mean, not the year where I got my win and Supercross podiums, but definitely like it's way easier. Like, especially, I don't think anybody like it's easy to say, oh, I made a lot more money in amateurs, but you also got to tie in the fact that like most kids have their mom and dad paying for all their stuff, so when they go to the race, like all it is pocketing money, you know. So that definitely plays in a factor, but yeah, it's definitely easier to make money as an amateur than pros. Most of the time, like yeah, we can get a good salary for pros, but I mean it's not guaranteed salary. You know what I mean? We're busting our ass. Like it's you're laying it all out there, you know, to get on that box. So um as an amateur, it's like I showed up and I knew I was gonna win or at worst get third, you know? So you know you're gonna walk away with, I mean, there are some years at mini O's where I racked up championships. I probably made 20 grand in a week, you know?
Wow.
And as an amateur, like that's insane money when you have to pay for something, which my opportunity I feel was a little different. Like I had to help out with some things with my mom, you know, things were pretty tight at home. And so most of my money like went out to helping in different scenarios. So I didn't pocket as much through amateurs. I helped a lot, but I would say for some amateurs, like I would say like the Reynolds, Cianciarulo, like those guys who are like really like prospects come through. I'm sure those guys made a ton of money. Yeah.
What do you think of that system? Do you think it's kind of broken? Would you rather take and not get money as an amateur and give yourself more as a pro and more opportunities? Because like you said, it's so scarce. It's so hard to find a contract. Would you
Yeah.
rather the industry do it that way and put more emphasis on the pros?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Husqvarna and these teams, rather than spend money on amateurs,
Mm-hmm.
spend that money developing more pros, give you guys more guaranteed years on your first contracts, have an extra rider in the pro ranks rather than put all that money on amateur kids that really don't sell bikes.
It's hard. It's hard to say because like I'm so fortunate that I was picked up by Hewitt and they helped me out the whole way. So it's hard to say because in my situation I would not be here without Bobby Hewitt, Scuba, guys like that who like really took a chance on me and brought me up the whole way. So it's hard to just say like, you know, take away from amateurs and give more to pros because for me, if they didn't give everything to me, like I wouldn't be here. You know, it's pretty tough.
Yeah,
So
that's it. Yeah, that's an interesting point that you never even would have got close enough to get to a team if you
no,
hadn't had the help at the amateurs. That's an
no,
interesting point. Like I said, there's pluses and minuses, but I just wish, yeah, I won't get you into battle. I've been fighting
no. I
for.
mean, it's definitely something like I definitely wish some things were different in the pros for sure. I like the thought of being a pro when you're younger is you think of things going so much like different when you're a pro, and then when you get here, you're like, oh wow. things are a lot different than what I thought. So there's definitely things that I wish could change, but I don't see, unless there's like a union, like riders getting together and like taking a stand on a few things. I don't think anything like that would ever happen. And then also there's a few guys in the sport that are making like a good living for themselves for them not to even give a shit about a stand. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it never worked.
No, yeah, and I've looked at those problems over and over, but I just, and what I've been fighting for is I just want these promoters. Every other professional sport gives 50% back to the players or racers or whatever, like F1. If we could just get 50% or 40% of the revenue to go back into the purse. So, hey, so like if you have a bad year this year and you have to do it on your own, that with purse money, you could survive and get yourself back onto a team. Where it is right now, there's nothing there. You can't even cover the weekend with the purse money unless you get to SMX, and maybe that's the start of it. So yeah, maybe
it's a start, but yeah, I mean, it's gnarly. I feel for the privateers. Like it's, dude, I don't know how they do it, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah, it's not an easy road, and that's why I just think it'd make the sport a little bit stronger. And I truly think the promoters would make more money in the end because they would solidify their names and the people, like, because once you build your name, you're valuable. Like Jalek Swoll, you're valuable, especially if this Netflix and your story gets out there, because it's amazing. I can't wait for it. But once that gets out there, you're valuable. And we don't want you to have 3-4 years and then disappear. And think of all the guys that you grew up racing with who've already thrown in the towel. I mean, it's gnarly. So
yeah, no, it's gnarly. I remember like growing up with or just around like Jordan Bailey, like that was a kid that lived really close to me. So we were at the same nationals, same races, same local races, whatever, gold cups, whatever. And like that was kind of someone I looked up to because he was super fast as an amateur, always, like for as long as I could remember. And yeah, it's crazy to see like him moved on from the sport and everything, because like what my image of him like growing up was like he was going to be one of the guys, you know what I mean? And same with like Zach Bell. I grew up with him. That was pretty much like my brother. Same with Chase Bell. And like what you think is happening in amateurs, like and going pro in that whole process, it's crazy to see when things don't work out like what you always envisioned, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jalek, man, I really appreciate you checking in with me. I'm pumped that you're racing yourself back into shape. I look for big things in Super Motocross, the SMX. I call it Super Duper.
Yeah.
They get really mad
it's
when
a
I do
little
that.
tongue twister.
But it's the dumbest name, Super Motocross. Like there was Supermoto, it was street dirt racing. Why did you just plagiarize that one? Can't you come up with a better name than that? It was disappointing to me. But I like the idea of it. The name I think is ridiculous. So anyway, you could maybe be the inaugural super. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. So Super Duper allows Justin Cooper, who is pointed out of the 250 class, to race. What are your thoughts on that? Weird, right?
It's definitely weird. I mean, I don't want to sound like a hater. Like I mean, it's cool that he has the opportunity to race. I mean, he's had to sit out of Supercross and literally only do outdoors. So for him, I'm sure he's super pumped on it. Like he actually can do something that's kind of Supercrossy, I guess, and get back in the mix. But it is weird that, I mean, the point system on like pointing out and staying in and who can come back and who can't, it's kind of weird. But for him, it's a sick opportunity. I'm sure there's definitely some guys. I know for a fact there's some teams that are like, "What the heck? Like, how is that able to happen?" But I mean, in his situation, it's sick. It's another opportunity to race and another opportunity to make good money.
Yeah, no, I dig it. Very cool. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for making some time for us. I'm excited for where you're going for next year too. So, and I'll let the people know. I know you didn't tell me. So just anyone else there, he didn't tell me.
Yeah, I didn't say if I was leaving the team either. That's you, dude. I don't know what you're
I haven't said
about.
a thing. Listen, I know what I know, and you didn't tell me a thing. I'm going, all that is from me, not you. So all you confirmed is you have a home next year. So
yeah, dude. You know, people talk, you know. I mean, I could be Ducati, you know what I mean?
It's not Ducati. It's close though. You're smart. You're very close. I'm gonna let you go before I blow the lid off it. So
yeah.
All right, brother. You have a good day, man. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
Later.